I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
Great, another broken white boy for us to fix.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are. With great power comes great responsibility. I can do this all day.
Wakanda Forever!
And welcome, Internet, to another episode of Views from the 616, the blackest MCU podcast in the multiverse, powered by ForAllNerds, where we discuss everything in the MCU from the perspective of people of color. And it is one of your hosts, Tatiana King, a.k.a. T'Challa Blerd, a.k.a. Tesseract Thompson, a.k.a. Captain America, LaWandaVision, the coldest Winter Soldier ever, and Dr. Doing Something Strange for some change. And as always, I am joined by my lovely co-host.
It's your boy DJ Benhameen, a.k.a. NBA Youngboy Never Blipped Again. Dr. Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme Clientele. I'm going to keep it simple. Tonight we got a lot of guests, so, you know.
A lot of guests because we are here for the official Wakanda Forever trailer all-star review. That's right. Just because it is this of a monumental occasion, we are reviewing the actual trailer and all the feels that came along with it, good or bad, right? So, as Benhameen said, we have a huge party of people here. I feel like this is probably like the best Final Fantasy party I could have put together. Like, we got the tank, we got the DD, we got everything. Anyway, let's give a warm welcome to my girl, one of my favorite people in the world, Steph Williams. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Stephanie Williams, a comic writer and memer, I guess. I still do that from time to time.
Exactly. And coming back triumphantly, he missed a few of these reviews, so we had to make sure he got it this time. Ron from POC Culture. What up, Ron?
What's up? Thanks for having me back. I definitely missed the spaceship. This is Ron from POCculture.com, a.k.a. He who remains in line, the Asian ambassador to Wakanda, star Oh Lordy, master of Kung Foolishness, the Wonder Bread Man, and the Sorcerer Taco Supreme.
Hey, the Kung Foolishness and the Taco Supreme, those are my faves. I love it. I love it.
That was great.
I love it. Also returning triumphantly is Mr. Emann himself. Please let the people know.
What's up? Hey, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me back. I didn't think I was going to get an invite because I've been a thorn in DJ Ben's, in this backside.
For a year and a half.
Right.
That's the cool part.
But yeah, hey, look,
right? It's been a minute.
Film critic, YouTuber. I guess y'all can call me Mr. Recast T'Challa, whatever. I don't really care. It's all
you
good.
Wearing the shirt. You branded, brother.
Hey, I got to represent, right?
There we go.
But yeah, hey, look, I'm just happy to be here. So thank you. Appreciate y'all.
And we also have the legendary Rodimus Prime himself, as he calls himself online. Please introduce yourself.
Oh man, first of all, thanks for having me back. And of course, I gotta hit my AKAs.
Damn it.
It's Malcolm Xbox, Potamus Prime, MLK Station 5, Trilson Fist, the Kingpin, the No Winter Soldier, Rocket the Rack, Snow Coon, Semi-Auto Octavius, Travis Scott Summers, Moon Knight Crawler, Wakanda Forever, and ever, Star Trek Discovery, because I keep that Burnham on me, and Kamala Universal Fan Con. What's up, y'all?
Okay, wait. What was the other one about the Discovery? Wait, I just had to hear that one more.
Call me that Star Trek Discovery, because I keep that Burnham on me at all times.
Okay, all right. Y'all, make sure you keep your eyes peeled because we may have another surprise on the way. But until that time, we do have something we want to do right now. Benhameen?
All righty.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Hey, little darling, don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. Good friends we have, and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears.
Yeah, that I'm shaking again. It's so funny because we've all probably collectively seen this trailer probably 200 times at this point, and it still gets me hyped beyond belief. So the first thing I want to ask everyone is, how did you feel prior to seeing this trailer? Before the trailer even dropped, how did you feel about Wakanda Forever, considering all the controversy, considering all the delays? What did you think before, and then what did you think now after seeing the trailer? Ron.
Oh my goodness, I'm I'm coming out the box
first. You can come back later with more.
No, I appreciate it. I think it's kind of like when the first Black Panther film came out, and we all were hyped. We all needed to see it, but there's that what we call rep sweats, right? There's that anxiety of like, there's so much riding on this. It needs to deliver. It needs to be above and beyond what any of these other trailers are. And so can they do that? And I think coming into the sequel, there's even more pressure given everything you talked about. And so I had a lot of anxiety about two things: how good it would be and how the community would respond. And whew, just like Atlantis, both of them been blown out the water.
Love it. Stephanie, you got a thought about it? What you think before and then now?
Before, I was just hoping that they would be able to produce something given the circumstances. I couldn't even imagine trying to create something under that type of pressure and just overall lost like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when the trailer was finally out, because I was like, man, are we going to get this before the movie premiere? I mean, like, yeah, will we get it before the movie's premiere? Where they were going, it was going to come out the day before. But I was pleasantly surprised and happy to see it for what it was. I mean, just like the first trailer for the first movie, it did not disappoint. You can tell that Ryan Coogler's heart is all over that, like all his other films. And I don't know, like it was just a really beautiful thing to see.
Absolutely. Ben, what did you think before and after?
Oh, man. Beforehand, there's been a lot, as Emann alluded to, there's been a lot, going on before this trailer came out. Obviously, with Chadwick, everything, there's just been, I kept saying it, like, one thing is, like, as working in Hollywood and shit, I couldn't imagine the pressure that was on these people. That's what really was always in the back of my mind. Like, the pressure that was on Ryan, the pressure that was on everyone involved in this was so much. And I was like, yo, how are they going to deal with all that? And then this man's like getting arrested at Bank of America and shit. I'm just like, Jesus, dude got so much going on. I can't imagine the stress. Hopefully, he's, as I've always seen him, just really chill about everything and manage to handle it. But it was that same worry, it's like there's so much on this film series shoulders. Like, like Ron said, before the first one, we were all like, oh God, please, please, Lord, because we knew, if they mess it up, it's like, fuck, like we're doomed for like 10 years, you know what I mean?
And isn't that pretty fucked up though, that if we mess it up, you're doomed? Like there's no comeback, there's no grace.
It's like
if
a
you
draft
fuck up
pick.
the first time.
You choose number one, Sam Bowie, it's like, oh well, that's how it is. Your franchise takes that L for the next 10 years. Hold that. Forever, you in history. So, he was our number one draft pick.
Rob, what do you think before and after?
Before, I wasn't that concerned because I don't really have a lot of anxiety around like media like that. You know what I mean? Like, so like, if it would have been whack, I wouldn't have felt like, man, black people, man, what we gonna do? That was a movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. But also, I wasn't concerned because I think Ryan Coogler has a track record that shows like, his first bad movie that'll be his first bad movie. You know what I mean? Like he ain't made one yet. So, I was excited. Marvel's always put their money behind this project. The cast was returning. So, I was just more like, how are we gonna show what happened with, Chadwick and how's that gonna affect the film? That was my only real concern, was what path do you take? And then after seeing the trailer, I was like impressed because obviously they live it, we don't, you know what I'm saying? So they had more time to think about it, but I really think it was a extremely thoughtful choice to acknowledge the loss of this man who was their real friend and their like like not just their coworker and stuff. And to have, and in the trailer, you can feel like we're going to acknowledge that this man has passed. And I think as much as Black people love this film, maybe it'll give people a collective moment to really to mourn before being able to move on.
Absolutely. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts before and after?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to go through my whole year and a half worth of spit and, you know, everything that came along with it. But initially, you know, there was a lot of trepidation. There was some anxiety about the handling of T'Challa and the character. You know, I was very concerned about whether there was going to be a finality in ending the portrayal of T'Challa, because I was really concerned about the level of Black representation that comes with the role. You know, we talked about the impact of the first movie and how much it inspired people, how much it broke myths in Hollywood. And I mean, there was a lot riding on that first movie that broke expectations, and a lot of that carries over to the sequel. And then, of course, the compound that with, you know, the tragic passing of Chadwick, and then, of course, the pressure on the cast and the crew. And it was just a lot going on. So, you know, without going into like the long, detailed history of everything, my concern was like, what are y'all, for this trailer anyway, what are y'all going to show? What are y'all going to promote? And I did have a concern about portraying the imagery of Chadwick, primarily because, you know, and I've talked to Ben about this, like, I was very concerned about doubling down on the trauma, the tragedy that we already went through. I've seen
That's fair.
Everyone from little kids to grown, old, you know, adults mourning Chadwick back in 2020 when it happened. And I'm like, what's going to happen 2 years from now when we come back to this? How are we going to feel? Are we going to do this again? Because it was painful as hell the first time. I mean, I don't cry over celebrities, but I cried over Chadwick.
Oh,
you know,
I definitely understand.
You know what I'm saying?
So how do you feel now that you've seen the trailer and what's going on in your head?
First and foremost, I never had any doubt Ryan Coogler can put out a fantastic product. I never had a doubt about that. The man is a technical genius. He's a great writer, all of that. But I felt unsettled. It was an unsettling feeling to see Chadwick in the promotion and in the marketing of the film. And kind of coming off a Nope, where like the theme of spectacle was in that, it kind of gave me this uneasy feeling of, I know we're doing this for the right reasons. I know we're doing this, you know, the cast is doing it to promote and celebrate their friend and all that. But it's also marketing a movie to get butts in seats. And we're using this tragedy, this real life tragedy, to be part of the promotion. That was unsettling for me. I'm not saying everybody got to feel that, but it was uncomfortable for me.
Hold that thought, because we're going to revisit that in a minute. I told you all to make sure you're keeping your eyes peeled and your ears open, because we have a special guest here. Also, Miss Karen Mahorn, aka the Blerd Gurl, has joined us. Welcome.
Hi, sorry for my tardiness. Everything always happens at the last minute, but thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm very, very excited about this film.
Absolutely. And what we've been asking everyone is, considering everything that's been going on prior to the trailer being out, all the controversy, everything, all of the pressure and everything behind it, how did you feel leading up to the trailer versus how you feel now after seeing it probably for 50 times over?
Yeah. I never doubted Ryan Coogler. I never doubted him once. And I also know some of the editors that have worked on this. The editor that edited the trailer for the first Black Panther did this one. I'm like, no, it's going to be fire. I know. And now, did I have some nervousness about the movie? Sure. I knew the trailer was going to be fire, though. And there was all these rumors that like, oh, they might not show it at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm like, they're going to show it, but I don't think there's going to be much of a panel. And there wasn't. They waited to the end, and then they dropped it and they bounced. And because it was emotional. So, and I knew it was going to be emotional for everybody. Well, I'm sure we'll go into what we thought of the meanings and everything like that. But it was a very woman-led trailer. Love that. Little biased in that area of the women of Wakanda. I love the cinematography. Again, the music, things like that. I thought it was great. I honestly, the only person that I was nervous about coming into this film was Letitia. Everybody else, she's the only one that made me nervous because I was like, please.
What's going on, dear? Like, what's happening here? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think also a lot of, we'll get into that, but a lot of what happened with her, I think there was reality, and then there was also speculation that blew that up. But that was the only thing that made me nervous. But you know,
but you had faith that at least the trailer would be fire.
Absolutely, and I also have faith in Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just rooting for all the Black people. I'm
rooting for everybody Black.
Everybody Black.
Okay, so I mean, a lot of the words that have been coming out about this, you all have said it: emotional, powerful, impactful, questionable for some people, things like that. Was there a particular shot or scene or imagery that you saw in the trailer that really stuck in your head the most, even after these last few days?
There was one for me when Shuri is in the throne room and it's on fire and there's water coming up. The throne room is on Mount Bashenga. So when you see them fly into Wakanda and go under the trees and then come up, and they go all the way up to that mountain, and where the throne is sitting on top of that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So if water is coming in that room,
and there's fire,
we are getting Namor's full wrath. That is, you know, and not that we wouldn't know that, but like we didn't know what level we would get in this movie. Now here's the thing. I do not, however, know whether or not that was a premonition or whether or not that actually happened. But I still think that was an insane
shot.
Really insane scene. And then also Shuri again, and the whole white funeral procession.
Yeah.
That's the other scene with, again, Bashenga on, I think that was Necropolis that the dancers were in front of.
Yeah.
With Bashenga on one side, and I have a theory that the woman carved on the right of Bashenga, I think that was Nahanda, but that's me.
For me, and again, after seeing the trailer, just right before you joined, Karama, we played the trailer once more, and I think just from a recency standpoint, like Queen Ramonda saying about how she lost her entire family, that's where like right after she said that, like I started shaking a little bit, because it's there's real life tragedy there, but also the character tragedy, right? And what the emotional standpoint of where all the characters are, and especially Queen Ramonda, now that she is the de facto queen of it all, right? She has to bear everything. And just that feeling. I mean, Angela Bassett is a ridiculously legendary, iconic actor in general. So for her to just the way she even just delivers that is just beyond what I could anticipate or even compare to. So that shook me. Stephanie, what about you? Anything that stood out the most? Scene, person, whatever, or even a line that stood out the most for you?
Well, I mean, nothing that's like deep or anything, but it was just the shot of the whales under the water, because I've seen the Avatar trailer.
That's deep.
No less than 5 times in IMAX. And I was like, ooh, so, you know, this movie's going to be extra delicious visually. And I was a little happy for that. So I was like, I definitely will have an edible for that. But outside of that, I really love seeing Annika show up in the Midnight Angels gear. I thought that was it looked great. But those are 2 things. But definitely just happy to see Namor, because it's time to get a little messy.
Emann.
I just want to say, did you see how her dagger glowed blue?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah. No, I made a whole post about that, because I was like,
yeah. And I'm calling out names, but if anyone just has something, just jump in. But Emann, please.
Yeah. I mean, look, I already said what I said about the Chadwick mural. That just kind of touched me probably the most emotionally. But the nerdy side of me, I mean, I got to go with the Panther booty shot at the end. That, like, who. You know, I'm assuming that's Shuri, you know, taking up the mantle. I'm assuming that's her. I know some people think it's Killmonger and whoever. I'm assuming it's Shuri, but that kind of got me a little bit, you know, like, okay, like it's about to go down. Because if you look a little closer down into the shot, Namor is there on his knee. So somebody was giving Namor the business. And I think that was Shuri doing that. So I like that scene. in terms of like what stood out.
Rod.
For me, I think one, Agent Ross got a makeover. That's good for him. You know, it's good to see white people doing their thing.
Did he really? I mean,
yeah, he had the shades. He had the
he
the
reminds
white.
me of Flanders. He looks the same every time. So
Yeah, y'all will see when y'all see the movie. And then obviously the Chadwick Boseman like mural was just, you know, that moment of like, yeah, you know, we gotta acknowledge this, and so I appreciated that. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing was flames. It was, you know, like every other scene was just like they about to fight. It was people coming into Wakanda with guns. You know, they about to get hit up, like warriors climbing the walls. It was all like, it's still a comic book movie. So like I was still hype off of just the fact that we about to see Wakanda, you know, get back in battle.
absolutely. Ron, you had any favorites?
Yeah. I mean, just for that opening shot with Nakia on the beach, just looking over, I think that was just a really powerful moment. Just because there's obviously a lot going on in the character's mind, which we all kind of share. When Shuri we see her crying, like that was definitely emotional. And then we talked about this pre-show, but that moment when Shuri and Riri see each other, and right when they, you know, dap each other up, and the music changes from No Woman, No Cry to Kendrick Lamar's All Right. I mean, listen, I just couldn't believe they did that so smoothly. And then just the emotional power of that transition. Yeah. It hits me every time. It hit me right now when we watched it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you mentioned it for me, but I wanted to talk about the new character integrations. Like, obviously, we have Riri Williams, Ironheart, played by Dominique Thorne. We also have Tina Cueta as Namor. Now, first of all, I just love the how I said the cultural direction of how they're doing Namor, the visual direction of how they're doing Namor, the costuming of how they're doing Namor. Are they framing him from the Mayan civilization?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it seems to be.
Yeah. And sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, and also tying into the actor's Mexican heritage. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't want to like toot my own horn too much, but last February I came across some information that Marvel Studios was casting 2 major Mayan roles, and the timing of it all ended up being Black Panther. And so I think it's very much tied to the Mayan culture and definitely, you know, in Mexico and all of that. So I think they're doing that callback for this.
You see the Mayan temple in the shot with Nakia in the background.
And I think they teased some of that in Thor: Love and Thunder when they had like the Mayan or Aztec
the gods.
God.
Yeah.
And
they definitely showed. I said that. I
close
mentioned that to you, Ben. They showed a lot of like, and we said that in our review. They showed a lot of different Mayan gods, Central American gods in there. Yeah.
Didn't they murder that dude? Wasn't he the first to go?
No.
Okay. I remember the first guy who got murdered. Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned, Riri, we have Ironheart. Then, of course, you kind of have that iconic similar comparison shot, just like how when she's doing the hammer, that's the same exact shot. In the cave, just like, you know, Iron Man 1.
The way I did not remember that.
The Mark 1. It's her Mark 1 suit.
And, you know, those who remember that like the very old cartoon, I think it was back in the 90s, you have that same imagery right there in that shot. So that was really cool to just see that. And I was just gnawing at the bit about Riri Williams in general. I was just like, put her in the MCU ASAP. I didn't want to see animation or anything like that. I wanted to see flesh and blood. So I think for me, that was just important to see that come about. Was there anything about the new characters or any particular characters you guys wanted to mention?
Michaela Cole's in there too, right?
Oh. Michaela Cole's in there, yes. She's here as Anika.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ryan called her Annika, which I was like, okay, so we have a new pronunciation.
Annika.
Yeah,
Annika. Okay.
That's what I said the way I did.
Because we've been saying it, Anika.
Well, maybe it is
all this time.
Maybe it's supposed to be Annika, and I just been pronouncing Anika because I'm from New York, so I guess.
I was saying the same thing. I'm like, on those podcasts, I was wrong as hell. Just like when I was calling.
That happens all the time with comic books. Man. I remember I used to say Magneto. I was
I did that. Everybody
it's
did
Magnet,
that.
right?
No, sir. Everyone did not do that.
No,
It's been
Magneto.
Magneto from
hold
the
up,
jump.
hold up.
It's been
hold up,
Magneto
homies.
from the jump.
Hold up, homies who were born when they actually said it in media. I would know when it was just a comic book. It was Magneto. You know,
when it was
until
just a
somebody
comic
else.
book.
Yeah, it's
It is
Magneto.
spelled Magnet. Honestly,
it's Magneto.
Y'all
So
was straight up.
Magneto? Wouldn't if
Yeah.
if you're gonna do that pronunciation, Rob, wouldn't it be Magneto?
That's what I said. Magneto.
fine.
That's what I
You
used
said
to
Magneto.
say.
You
It was-
added another
Hold on,
flourish
hold
to
on,
it. This is what
hold
I'm
on.
talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm
Black
black.
people are ridiculous.
Did y'all have the same problem with Thanos?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I think Thanos
I
sounds
still don't know
very-
which one it is.
It's
honestly.
Thanos.
It's very Italian,
It's
and I just
Thanos.
liked it. It has a little je ne sais quoi to it. So I say
That's just
Thanos.
definitely Thanos. And all right, wait, Steph, Krakoa?
No, nigga, I was saying Krakow for the longest. I know it don't sonically
Krakoa.
look like that, but it just seemed like it would make
Krakatoa.
sense because if there
It is
was
definitely
a
Krakoa.
I don't know what's
I knew that
but I'm
one.
just
I don't know
saying,
why.
like, if there was a live living island, I don't know, like Krakow just sounds it got a little bit more flavor to
There you
it.
go. I feel you.
So
But in
anyway,
history, real life history, there is a Krakatoa, right? Like the whole
no,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So that's
So
what
anyway,
I
for a long
Shout,
time.
shout out
So
to
I
the
was like,
'97 X-Men. Like they the
Yeah.
ones that
listen,
put
I
me
watched
on.
it,
Same.
but in my mind, I was like, no, I'm just gonna say.
So is it Namor and not Namor? Or, I mean, like, where are we going with these names?
Namor.
now? But-
That's another
No,
one.
but I'm just saying.
No, I've
Right
heard,
on
but
the characters,
I've
I
heard
can't even pronounce their
people,
name.
but in press, I've heard people call him Namor, which I thought was
So,
insane.
what?
Like Amber? Like I was like, no.
But is it Submariner or Submariner?
All
No,
right,
that's
well,
it. No, it's
You see what I'm saying?
Submariner.
See?
These are the
This is out of
problems we
control.
had before. Like, shout out to Marvel for coming through and giving us all like one thing to say. Because
Yeah.
back in the day, when I was just reading these books by myself in my house, I ain't have no key to go off of.
He was a Submariner, I think. No, I knew he was Submariner. I don't know why.
Juggernaut or Juggernaut now?
In Star Wars, people call him Han. People call him Han.
Han.
It's all good.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
that's just reality, right? We all
Ugh.
pronounce things different ways. That's okay. It's okay.
That's a good point, Ron.
Yeah.
So they fake,
Is it?
so it's all good.
Right,
I
right.
think
True.
it's high. I don't
Right,
know.
right.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
one
But
person.
wait,
that's-
I did want to say one thing about that.
Yeah,
'cause
go ahead.
We mentioned her. Michaela Cole plays
Annika.
Anika.
Anika.
And Anika, who is in a relationship with Io, and
Correct.
they form a group called the Midnight Angels in the comic, and it's one of my favorite things since Io was introduced in Civil War. I've been waiting for this moment. So to see her in the blue suit and to see her facing off against Dora, like she did something where they feel that she betrayed the country, was like,
Yeah.
fuck yes.
Disney
You know,
Plus series.
as effed up as that moment is, it was still like, yes, I'm happy for it.
Yeah. Shout out
And
to
that,
you.
that
I
moment
agree.
really
I
mirrored
think
the
he's-
Killmonger moment, right? Like in the first film,
Yeah.
when the Dora,
Mhm.
that, it almost like it almost exactly the
Mhm.
same. So I thought that was interesting. Sorry, Karma.
No. It's fine. All I was gonna say is I feel like they're pulling together two stories. They're pulling in the world of Wakanda comic, and they're pulling in part of Doom War, which is when the Midnight Angels were first seen. And I like the fact, but I like that they're playing with that, and I love that we're seeing sort of the Dora Milaje Mark I Midnight Angel suit.
Mhm.
So it's fire.
I think
Yeah.
we're gonna see that.
I think
Oh,
we're
the
gonna see the
makings of that.
full Midnight suit before the movie's over.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They got to be setting that up for a Disney Plus series.
Well, we already saw some of the Midnight Angels gear. Some of those drones, those belong to Midnight Angels. Some of the little drones that were flying in, that were, if you turn the brightness up on your screen a lot, you'll see they're blue and they're not black. So there's a little, you know me, I'm partial to Doris.
Of course, as you should be. Like you said, we're gonna talk about your book soon. Shout out to Daniel Kaluuya, who is notably absent because he was actually filming Nope at the same time as this. Nope is a phenomenal movie too. Is anyone upset that Wakabi's not going to be here?
No, he's a snitch.
The traitor? You a traitor ass nigga.
Should be in jail.
No, I can't believe you all. Seriously, I wanted to see how Wakanda handles a traitor like that. We could. It's a
You lock
story
him
that's
up.
right.
You lock him up. That's
Is
it.
that it though?
No.
That's like-
You send them to
I
America.
agree with you.
I don't believe in prisons.
Damn. No, but here's the thing. I agree with
Perfect.
Ron,
Set him to
but
the
I
ghetto.
also know that there probably was a storyline for that before Chadwick passed.
Yeah.
And then it was like, we ain't gonna have enough time. And then on top of that, here's the thing. I also think there's a scene, because he said he couldn't do it because of Nope. So clearly he thought he was doing it. So there probably was a scene that they just had to work around. And remember, they had all that time to reshoot when Letitia got hurt, and then the whole thing with COVID or whatever.
Yeah. I guess Okoye could go visit him in jail,
I'm good. I wasn't worried about it, in like no sense of like, because that's the thing and something we'll talk about as long as also with T'Challa and everyone in this film. It's characters, you got to introduce new characters, you got to keep it moving. The world has to grow, and my man served his purpose, had his arc. I don't want to see him like, oh, I messed up, give me another chance. Like, no,
20 minutes of a redemption.
What would you say? Send him to America or death?
I said send him to the ghetto, America.
You ain't got to go to the ghetto.
You get kicked out of America is the ghetto. First of all, you get kicked out of paradise of Wakanda. You go to America.
Wakanda.
Let them go to
They
Beverly
probably don't
Hills
even
and
got
like
COVID
that
in
up.
Wakanda. They probably saw the pandemic in Wakanda.
They don't have anything going on in there
At all.
that's bad anyway that we could tell, except for some situational politics, perhaps. Speaking of politics, lots of politics. Let's just go right into it so we don't waste time. Lots of politics behind a shirt that this man is wearing. It's called #Recast T'Challa. We're not going to rehash everything that goes behind it because we've had a really long conversation about that. You can see it on our YouTube, youtube.com/ForAllNerds TV. You can see that interview we did with Emmanuel last year. You can argue with us over there. But what I do want to talk about
they're going to argue here too.
Fine. But what I want to talk about,
them
again,
fight.
is something you said earlier, Emann, where you said, and I actually disagree with you, but you said that you feel that they're using his death as part of the marketing of the film. Can you explain just a little bit more in depth about why you feel that way?
Sure. So, again, to preface things, because I know sometimes people take them out of context, what I was talking about was, first of all, Marvel is not malintent. They're not malicious. They're not evil. I don't think the creators are doing anything, negative. So even, I don't care if you're pro recast or not, like, let's dispel that from the jump. I think everyone involved is definitely well-intentioned. My issue was the fact that they were using the imagery of him in the promotion. Again, that's just what it is. They use his image in the marketing promotion. I have no issue with the fact that it's going to be part of the story. I have no issue with the fact that it's going to be in the movie. I was just talking about the fact that it was in the marketing because whether they meant it or not, the purpose of a trailer is come and see this movie for money. Like, they're making money. They're not donating these proceeds. At least it hasn't been announced. It's not for some non-for-profit. It's not like some free special that they're showing on TV. It's for profit. So that's why I was saying it's uncomfortable. It's unsettling for me that they're using that imagery to sell the movie when we already know the context behind it. We know Chadwick passed away. We know this is clearly going to be a tribute to him. We know clearly from the opening scenes there's a funeral happening and all that. I think audiences are sophisticated enough to know we're putting two and two together and all that. So the imagery to me was kind of like, this makes me feel very uneasy.
Thank you for defining your position. Let me explain why I disagree with that. Hannah Beachler, who is the production designer for Black Panther, she did a very poignant thread, I think yesterday, or maybe even today, but this morning. But she, and I'm condensing this down. This is not verbatim, I'm condensing it. But she expressed that this was the open grieving of the cast at large. This was the open grieving of, yes, the character, but of Chadwick himself. As we all had said, there was a lot of pressure behind this, let alone the outside pressures. The fact that their primary character, their leader, everything that the stories and the people, real life and within story revolved around, passed away. And yes, as you said, the part of the story will be about his death and there will be a funeral procession and things like that. But it's more than just, we're just doing this to sell a story. We are sharing, and we meaning Hannah and everyone there, we are sharing our feelings and our emotions, and we are pouring out to everyone else in an art form. And this was their way to communicate their grief through story, through imagery, through the context of both real life and of how it affected the story they're in. So and again, you're not talking about their characters, people, or anything like that. I'm not saying you are. It's just, I think it's a bit short-sighted to say it's just a way to market the movie. It's way more than that. And that was really defined very, very beautifully by Hannah and the other people that are a part of the production.
Well, just to correct that point, I didn't say it was just the way to market it. I'm just saying that the fact that it happened, that it exists,
that it was just there in general.
That it was you would have there.
You would have preferred that they
again,
had no
it's not
imagery.
Evil, bad. I'm just saying it was uneasy. That's
gotcha. Cameron,
I just have a question because thank you for explaining it, Emann, because I honestly don't. I haven't learned that much about the campaign because most people, I'm just going to be honest, that have that hashtag have been very nasty to me. Fair. So I actually haven't had a conversation. So this is the first time I've had a conversation because most people have called me out my name and so they just get blocked. So I appreciate you explaining because this is the first time I've actually heard it. The question that I have is, does everybody understand that is not, I mean, you're not responsible for everybody who's behind the hashtag, but are you clear on the fact that this movie is the end of phase 4 and the last time anybody's going to have a chance to mourn him, and that he probably will be recast in the next phase of Marvel?
Yeah.
It's not that you don't think he's not going to be ever recast ever. It's that you would have rather he be the character be recast for this movie.
No. So one of the tenets for Recast T'Challa is it does not have to be an immediate recasting. It's the ultimate goal is don't end the portrayal of T'Challa permanently. Keep that portrayal going. That's literally, in a nutshell, that's it.
And that's the part where I'm confused.
Yeah.
Because they said they would not recast T'Challa for this movie.
That's not what they said.
No, that's not what they said.
That's not what they said.
And let me jump in real quick. Let me just real quick. And I just what they did say is that the 616 T'Challa, that's it. They will not recast him. Any T'Challa that we see will be from the multiverse, as we've already seen T'Challa's on the multiverse.
And what if?
Now, this is my quick question to. This is one thing that I've learned to accept because, I've seen these movements before. I do this a lot. And once people take a side, because they've spent so much time on that side, there's no changing them. So I really don't expect to change anyone with this, and that's why we're going to keep it quick. But if they do bring in a new T'Challa from another multiverse, it will, to the characters that we know and love, this will be a stranger. You know, it won't, the story that we want to see, that, that we wanted to see with Chadwick continuing T'Challa's story is never going to happen. That's just the reality of the situation. The moment he passed, it's not going to happen. Unless you reboot the whole universe and start again, because the way Marvel moves is it's moving forward. And so much time will have passed by the time we bring in a new one. I mean, he missed 5 years of Wakanda's growth already. That's just the reality of what happened. Wakanda would have moved on in those years. They would have had a new king and queen, most definitely. So it's just I get what people want, but what reality is dictating is a different thing.
And I would also say that it's fiction. Because it's fiction, the option, for example, that you gave, that they wouldn't know him and stuff like that, we don't know that. Because you have time travel, you have magic, you have a multiverse. You look at the events of Loki after Sylvie got rid of He Who Remains. What happened? They literally created a new timeline. Same characters, whole different context.
No one still notices these people. That's what we've seen at the end of
it. Here's the thing. Okay, first of all, I kind of think you're both right, because we have how many Pietros? And sure. So we have multiple people. But my issue is, again, I'm going to say the same thing. Well, hang on. I'm going to say the same thing. They said they were not, and again, we're saying the same thing. They're not recasting T'Challa for this movie. 616, T'Challa, he's not going to be recast, but he will be recast. T'Challa will be recast. He'll just come from a multiverse. So there's going to be another one. And if we end up going with Secret Wars or whatever the end of the next phase is, we could end up with a whole new universe where everything's all back together. So that's why I'm like, I guess my thing is like, Marvel does this. They even, I'm not even talking about Chadwick. I'm saying characters die, characters get pulled out, and then they come back in another shape, form. They've done it in the comics, and there's no reason they wouldn't do it in the movie. So I do think we're going to see a T'Challa again, even if it's considered another universe. The universes they ebb and flow. So I get it. I just don't think people should be calling people out their names.
That's totally unacceptable.
But
and we know that you think it's unacceptable because you've echoed this.
I've told people that don't go using our hashtag, calling people out their name, bringing negativity. I said that this from the jump, literally on the.
I mean, he said it. He said it.
I know you said it.
I'm like, don't do that because it conflates the message. It distorts what we're trying to do. We are not disrespecting the cast, family, crew, etc. We are listen, I've said that this is like a conversation among loved ones that lost a loved one. Nope, everybody wants the same thing. We all care about the same people. All this negativity, I don't care what side it's on. Stop all that. No misogyny, no calling people out their names. I reject all that. I condemn all that. It is not what we started with. And, if people saying that, bounce. Because that's not, no.
Right.
It's not cool.
Steph, Ron, or Rod, did either of you have anything you want to add to this?
As far as the imagery, I think people would have been more offended if they didn't show Chadwick.
I would have, actually.
I think that would have been completely disrespectful. And that would have been the real capitalism at work, is we just replaced them like a person dying on the Amazon floor and put another person in his spot and just kept it moving. I feel like that would have felt way too soon. and I think the fans of him and the fans of the movie franchise and all that, they just need a second to have it acknowledged somewhere. And it wasn't going to be appropriate in any of these other movies. You can't have that in Thor. It wasn't the same in What If. This is a real loss for a lot of people outside of just acting, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that, even in a fantasy world, because ultimately this stuff crosses over into real life. So as someone that has not watched Black Panther or anything since Chadwick died, I know it was a thing for me to even see his face again, to be like, oh yeah, I've been kind of waiting on a moment of collective acknowledgement for this dude. And for people that go way back with me, I was the person that was calling for Chadwick to be Black Panther after I saw 42. I said, I ain't never seen a brother's eyes look so disrespectful at white people in my life. How do we get this brother to be Black Panther? And so it's an emotional connection that I have with the whole thing. So I'm glad that they're, to me, doing the right thing and acknowledging it before they just move on like it never happened.
Right. All right. And I'm going to move on. But it did happen, but I am going to move on because there is something I wanted to get to that is very peculiar. And it's one thing about Marvel trailers, you can't trust it either. Do not believe a word you hear or anything you see because it's probably a lie. But there is something there. There's a frame where you see what appears to be a new suit.
What suit?
A suit. I said a new suit.
Okay.
I stuttered a bit. Thanks for pointing out, Ben.
I was like, wait, the Kappas are here?
Out, Ben. Appreciate it.
She said a nuke suit. The Kappas showed up. I missed that joint. Hold up. They were standing there with the canes, hey.
Now, depending. That's hilarious, actually. Please never make that, y'all. Please never draw that, please. Wow.
It's happening.
Depending on how the color is on your TV show, it looks kind of yellow glow to it. It might be some other color. Who knows? And then also depending on the angle of your screen, could be somebody that's slim, could be somebody that's slim thick, could be somebody with yams, could be somebody
hold on. Is this the blue dress, gold dress again?
Could be somebody with a long back. My whole point is, who the hell?
Taylor Swift?
Who the hell is in that suit? Now, we ran a poll on ForAllNerds Twitter, and we said, could it be Shuri? Could it be Nakia? Could it be Anika or Annika? Depending on who you're talking to. Like, who is there? Does anyone have any theories?
I already said Shuri.
I have a theory, but it's not what I said on Twitter. By the way, I was being sarcastic and somebody came at me, and so I just went with it.
People need to grow up.
Yeah, I just let everybody think I believed it was Killmonger for a whole day and got my numbers up because I was angry. But thank you for supporting the algorithm. So after watching it 152 times, in fact, shout out to Emann Latif because he voiced something I was thinking actually about a couple hours before I came on the show. I now think, not only do I think Ramonda is in that suit, I think this entire trailer is about Ramonda.
Queen Ramonda?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
In the Gucci tracksuit? Let's hear why.
I'll tell you why. Because when Ramonda says, "I've lost my whole family," that I think is a flashback to the snap. Because in the snap, it was T'Challa gone, Shuri gone. Shuri was gone, and it was confirmed.
King was already gone.
King was already gone. She said, "I lost my whole family." So I think that was a flashback. Yes, it's a black and gold suit. The only other person that had a black and gold suit besides Killmonger was T'Chaka. So if what we're seeing with her on the beach, we don't know how many times they fought Namor. So my theory is that it's a shot. If we're looking at a shot from during the snap when her whole family was gone, and yes, it's a woman in the suit. I'm sorry, but Letitia never had that many sandwiches. That is not her booty.
Okay.
She ain't never had that much roti. That's not her
said
booty.
That's not her yams.
No, it's not.
Steph. Let me get to Steph really quick because I know Steph has limited time. Steph, who do you think is in that suit?
I don't Shuri, but I don't think that it's Shuri. But I was thinking it'd be great if it was not because of Letitia, because no. But I was just thinking about the Young Avengers and the fact that they haven't introduced them yet, and we've never seen a Young Avenger, Black Panther, and how cool that could be if that were a thing. But I don't think it's Shuri. I don't know if it's Ramonda because I wasn't seeing childbirth and hips, but maybe I don't know. Maybe the diet's a little different in Wakanda.
I wasn't seeing baby making hips either.
But I don't know, maybe one of them women. Hell, it might be Okoye, or it could be Io. I don't know.
That's that one of them black ladies. One of them but it's a woman, is what you're saying.
Yes,
for sure. Okay, Ron, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's Shuri because it's obvious, but I think there's more to that scene. But who I want it to be is Nakia. I mean, I think the Ramonda has a good storyline. That makes a lot of sense, what Karama said. And I've heard some people talk about that. I think that makes sense because even in What If, we saw Queen General Ramonda, right? So we've seen that character in action in the Marvel Studios universe. So I think that makes a lot of sense. But from a narrative perspective, what we learned from Nakia's perspective, like you said, Tatiana, Nakia was right. And so I'd love to see her take on that mantle because I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there are people, we when we mentioned her, people were like, well, no, because she's a war dog and she's a spy and she ain't got time for, responsibilities like that. Because that is a responsibility. That's another thing people forget. Like, it's not just, you just decide to jump in that bitch whenever you feel like
and
it.
And also, she starts the movie in Namor's world. She's next to, his stuff, not, I don't think she's in Wakanda in that first shot.
Could be, because she is a world traveler. And she got too many miles to be sitting around in Wakanda. Facts. Rod is.
Oh, I think it could be Winston Duke.
Pensively. Yeah.
I mean, obviously Winston Duke has very shapely thighs, so it could be him. And we're just all assuming, but we don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Also, because it's Marvel, it could be just like a fake out.
That's the other side.
Right. It's it could be stunt person number 6. Right.
Yeah. How many trailers have we had to watch to be like, this what's gonna happen? Man, I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend to stress my brain about this, dog. They mess around, don't even put this in the damn movie, man.
They do that too. True. They did that with Thor. There was so many scenes that were never in the film.
Remember when Hulk was running in Wakanda at the end of Infinity War, it's like the Hulk is gonna be fighting in Wakanda. It's like it was Banner in a daggone Iron Man suit. Like, I'm good, bro. Y'all got it.
Even did we?
I feel like we might see more than one person in more than one suit.
I agree.
Okay. That's what I was saying, Ron.
Okay, and
like,
how
it could be on some like We Are Black Panther type shit. Not
right.
Not that they would never recast T'Challa, but like
no, We Are Robin. I'm done.
But and how is all of this happening? Is if all the heart-shaped herb is burnt up? What's happening? How's this?
You don't need the heart-shaped herb to wear the suit.
No, you don't. But are you truly Black Panther, quote unquote?
One theory that's going around is that the Atlantis has a different version of the heart-shaped herb, or wherever Atlantis is located, the heart-shaped herb is growing there as well, and so that's why Wakandans are going there in the first place to find the heart-shaped herb, and perhaps that Namor himself.
They're going there, or they invading?
Well, one or the other. You don't usually get things easy. Things don't usually come cheap when they come. So, in fact, one thing about the trailer I want to point out real quick, two things actually, is that the trailer opens and closes with Nakia. Possibly, right? It does open with her and possibly could close with her. Also, the ill thing is Namor's journey through the trailer is really, really fucking sick. Like, it shows him young with his house burning, and you see the wagon where it's an old school wagon out on the lawn, because that's how old Namor is. In the comics, Namor fought alongside Captain America and the original Human Torch in World War I as the invaders. So Namor is mad old. So you see him, his back to the camera, house burning in front of him. So it seems like the humans burned up his house because he got little wings on his feet, and they like, fuck it, they don't fuck with that. So burn up his house, and then don't mess with the mutants. Even back then, shit don't change. So you see them, and then you see his back with the house burning, and then the next shot is him walking out of the water. So it's like he's bringing what was brought to him. You know what I mean? Like what he's been seeing is like what he gonna bring back. And it's also like Namor is like a mirror image of Killmonger, where Killmonger didn't get to go home, and Namor got to go home as a child. Namor got to be king of his people from early.
To learn who he was from,
to learn who he really was from, and everything. And
also,
yep, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, one last thing.
I was gonna say. Yeah, go ahead. No, you finish.
All right, is that that's who's being born in the trailer underwater.
Oh yeah,
is Namor. People have been wondering about that shit, but it's his wings on the feet that you see.
I agree.
So also, if he exists in this universe, right? Since we already know, like he's killing. He been chilling. Yes. Like he ain't been messing with nobody.
Chilling this whole time.
Yeah, like this, like kind of how they did the Eternals, where don't nobody know they was around. So like, if they did go take one of them, fruits up out of his crib, I can see why he would be like, man,
I don't even fuck with y'all. Like, you know what I mean?
I ain't even did nothing. All y'all do is throw plastic in my home.
Nigga, half of my niggas just disappeared one day. I'm sitting in the water. I don't even know why. Then 5 years later, them half come back. I don't come bother y'all niggas. You know what I mean?
Because like, it's that moment in the trailer where the camera is right on his face, and it looked like he's telling somebody, shut the fuck up. So he's like, that's it.
I got a theory. So I don't know if anybody's nerded out like this. Y'all read the Wakanda Files? So in that, it did say that Shuri was there we go. There you I got the same edition.
Camera
so
got
yeah,
it.
we on there. It talked about how Shuri was studying and researching, the herb and everything. So I would not be surprised, especially if she's elevated as the lead in this movie. If she finds a way to resynthesize it or to recreate it, replicate it. I mean, you still got Killmonger's body, you still got essence. Or both, whatever, Yeah, like you got two of the smartest people in the world right there. I'm pretty sure that they could figure out how to recreate it. You got a whole mountain full of vibranium. So I think some way, shape, or form, she will be involved with like reproducing it or recreating it or something.
Absolutely. Stephanie, before you have to dip, I just want to make sure we got anything major that you wanted to mention. Or any particular thoughts that we didn't get to share with you? You didn't get to share with us.
No. I didn't really get a chance to do the deep dive thing and piece what's this and what's that. But I guess I'll plug the Wakanda #1. That'll be out October 12th. So that's following on Wakanda because T'Challa did some fuck shit again, and now he didn't been kicked out again. So again, now I will say that when I noticed the focus on Shuri and Ramonda in the trailer, that made me happy that I went in the direction I did with the story. So that's tidbit that nobody knows. The Shuri story focuses on her and her mom, because if I'm there, I'm about to go ahead and do a little, supportive mother, superhero daughter type of thing. But that's it. But thank y'all for having me. I wish that I could stay longer, but I need to go to bed because I got to be up at 6 in the morning on purpose.
That's the worst. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to see you soon. Thanks, Steph. All right. So according to Rod, it could be M'Baku in the...
It's not M'Baku. He knows it's not.
Okay,
we all know it's not.
I think y'all know everything. Just remember me.
Remember me.
The funniest shit is if you in the theater, if that image is still in the movie, but it's mad big now, and it is M'Baku.
The size of the thighs.
Stretched out or thin now.
Yeah, it was they CGI thin for the trailer.
Do you think quantum physics?
He's mad big in the movie, and you're like,
vibranium can, it is flexible.
I mean, it's been 15 years of film. We still out here trusting trailers? Come on.
No.
What is it, day one? Right. I don't trust nothing. I don't care. It could be Chadwick in the suit.
Oh my God. See, Rod is a troublemaker.
Hear me out.
We was having a good day.
Right.
You're thinking about the order of the trailer, right? And that image comes at the end. That doesn't mean that's the end of the movie. We don't see how Chadwick dies, right? So they could have some image just in the suit. Obviously not him, but the character dies in that suit in the beginning. And that was Black Panther we saw. Thinking that, we saw the new Black Panther, we were really seeing the old one for the last time.
I don't think they do that.
On that note,
a CG version?
I have a question. Yes. Okay. How would y'all
a
feel
CG version,
about
or a stuntman,
about them doing the Luke Skywalker route, or something like that, or the
digitally bringing him back?
Well, they already said they wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, like a deep fake.
Oh, they already said that, right?
They said straight up, no.
So they said they weren't. They definitely said they weren't doing that.
So we won't even see no shots of him in this film.
Well, also well, no. As far as I know, no. Beyond the artwork, the mural, and things like that, there might be further allusions. We may see the ancestral plane again. I mean, we've touched upon all the different planes when you watch all the Disney Plus shows, and then of course we haven't seen the ancestral plane since the first Black Panther. So I feel like, especially if you're talking about funeral processions and funeral rites and all this other stuff, they might touch upon it once more. I don't know if they're going to see Chadwick though, and I think it'd be weird actually.